The 13 colonies are often shown as one neat row on a map, but the people living there experience different climates, economies, beliefs, laws, and ideas about power. A fisherman in Massachusetts, a Philadelphia craftsperson, and an enslaved rice worker in South Carolina lived in worlds that barely resembled one another. The colonies shared an empire. They did not share one everyday life. In New England, rocky soil and a cold coast made fishing, shipping, small farms, and town life essential. Families depended on seasonal work, coastal trade, and local meeting houses. Puritan institutions shaped public life, while ports tied local workers to Atlantic commerce. The middle colonies looked different again. Philadelphia linked farms, workshops, merchants, and imported goods. Wheat came in from the countryside, while ships connected the city to Atlantic markets. Religious variety and busy markets gave the region a more diverse social and economic rhythm. In the Chesapeake and Lower South, tobacco and rice tied wealth to plantation agriculture and to the forced labor of enslaved people. Enslaved people brought knowledge, skill, and labor to fields, homes, docks, and workshops under coercion. The prosperity of elite planters rested on a violent system that controlled other people's work and lives. None of these colonies were empty. Native communities had lived on and governed these lands long before English settlement. They traded, made alliances, defended communities, and adapted to colonial pressure on their own terms. Colonial expansion brought conflict, dispossession, diplomacy, and resistance that belonged at the center of the story. Trade made these differences visible. Ships delivered imported cloth, tools, and household goods to ports, while local labor produced fish, grain, timber, tobacco, and other exports for distant buyers. Warehouses and wharves brought together sailors, artisans, merchants, laborers, and families whose fortunes were tied to the same cargo. They shared a king, but local interests often collided. Farmers worried about land and taxes. Merchants watched trade rules. Planters defended systems of wealth and labor. Religious communities guarded local authority. Those differences shaped every political argument that followed. A brief regional view shows the scale. Northern ports, middle farms and cities, and southern plantation economies faced different conditions before any unified politics existed. Distance made communication slow, while rivers, roads, and coastlines shaped what goods and people could move. Geography mattered, but people made those regions what they were. When resistance to Britain grew, delegates carried all of those differences into Congress. They had to persuade neighbors who feared distant authority, lost trade, new taxes, or the dominance of other colonies. Cooperation had to be negotiated across regions with competing fears, labor systems, economies, and local priorities. That is the real story behind the 13 colonies. The revolution did not unite 13 copies of one place. It asked 13 different societies whether they could act together, even while their people, economies, and histories remained deeply unequal. That hard question shaped the country they created.